Hey guys, welcome back to Ink. When I was a kid, every young boy dreamed of being a football player. I myself dreamed of putting on that red Man United shirt and walking out on the field at Old Trafford. But today's rock stars and football players are found on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. So today I have in conversation my friend Carl, who's been successful over on YouTube. Carl has spent the past few years creating content as a cameraman for one of the most successful YouTubers in the UK. Today we talk about what it takes to become a successful cameraman for YouTube. I hope you enjoy the conversation, and please like, share, and subscribe, and have a great day.
All right, how's it going? Welcome to today's episode from Ink. We've all had one of those days where you feel like you don't matter. Everything's going wrong and no one is there to listen or relate. But here at Ink, you do matter, and here we can relate. Because for all of us, there's always a something, a one thing, or many things that can really affect the way we think and feel. We hope that today's conversation brings a little bit of hope to your day. And do make sure to stay connected by subscribing to the channel.
All right, well, how's it going, Carl? How are you doing today, mate?
Yeah, good man. How are you doing? You all right?
I'm good, thank you. I really appreciate you joining us today for a conversation that kind of came out of nowhere. We've met before, but you've had a bit of a crazy season. Tell me a bit about what's going on in your life right now and how we came to meet in Halfords of all places.
I know, it was weird because I was disguised as another person when you met me as well, if you remember rightly.
Yeah.
You were like, your brother filmed for Ben Phillips? Because I had my colleague Dave's name badge on. I was like, no, this is how I just disguise myself. It's fine. But yeah, no, it's been a crazy year so far with like everything that's gone on with COVID and stuff. So I'm back in Halfords just temporarily for a little bit of stability, I suppose. Because I think that's what people are missing, especially what I was missing. I was sitting at home, I was losing my mind because obviously like you're a creative person as well. When you're sat in your own house for days and days and days on end, and there's not really much you can do apart from exercising, you just start going a little bit loopy, I suppose. So I just needed something to just, I like building stuff as well. So that going back just to build a couple of bikes for them was perfect. And that's literally all I went back for. It was just to kind of soothe my mental health, I suppose, just to give my brain something to do, because I can just switch off when I'm building a bike. It just sticks with me. I can just put it together and it's just very, very brain numbing. And that's what I needed, because sitting at home, you just get stuck with your thoughts for hours on end. And that's never a good situation, to be fair. So
mate, so good. I love what you said, soothing your mental health and looking at it as like as a job to just keep your mental health in check, and that's amazing. So what did life look like, for those that don't know, what did life look like pre-lockdown? What does Carl get up to in his regular outside of COVID life?
Yeah, well, it seems like a year ago now that stuff existed, but like I kind of made, to the start of the year, I left, so obviously I was working with Ben Phillips, who's a very big comedic prankster on YouTube. I left then in February his company after 3 years to go and try my own sort of swing at YouTube and social media, as well as start my own edit company as well to work with other YouTubers and things like this. So we had so much planned for this year, and we were just trying to just have fun with it. That was the main thing, was just seeing where it was going to go, seeing how far we were going to get with it. So we flew out to LA to try and meet some friends over there and some contacts over there as well, do some content over there, because of course LA is just, as soon as you take a British person in LA, people just love that, it's that cultural clash where things don't match, but people love to see it. And then of course we were just, every day we'd wake up, we'd have Fox News on, I think it was, and we could just see the situation was just getting worse and worse, and got to the point where we didn't know if we were going to get a flight back. Which then Wales Online picked us up. So they ran an article on us, as well as a couple of other people stranded around the world. And then luckily we managed to get on the last flight back to London from Los Angeles. So we did that. And since that point, we've been stuck inside and sort of dealing with the new normal. But before that, just life was just, it's crazy. You could just go out and do anything. You wouldn't even think twice about all the stuff that you think about now. You'd sit in Costas, you'd sit half a meter away from someone or anything like that. It's mad. But it was very, very non-stop. So going from a very busy life to being forced to stop was quite a tough thing to sort of swallow, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to get into the busyness of what it looks like to be a cameraman for YouTube. But let's go back to the start of where it all started for you personally. Where did your passion begin with filming and camera work?
It was actually it's weird because I've always had this sort of love for doing something film related. Like I borrowed my brother's old MacBook computer years and years ago, and I just mashed together like a couple of scenes from James Bond and Bad Boys and things, and put it together in this trailer. And he was just like, "Oh, that's actually like really good." And I was like, I just give it a go. Like, so that was, I was probably like 15, 16 at the time. So I never really sort of thought too much into it then. And then when I left school, I didn't apply to go to uni because I thought applying to UCAS and paying £20 for them to give you your options was a rip-off. So I was like, screw that. Like, I don't want to do that, So at the time I was working part-time in Halfords, and Stu, one of the guys who worked there, did a film course. And he was like, oh, I know you're interested in this stuff. He's like, come and do the course in Bridgend College. It's really, really good. You learn how to make films. You've got our own studio. You get to meet clients and things. Very, very practical. Because that was one thing I didn't want to do. I didn't want to go to a university, see a lecturer like September, and then they go, oh, cool, we'll see you at Christmas. Good luck. And then you don't really learn anything then. So I did that for 3 years then with Bridgend College. And that sort of helped me to gain the skills. But so I went to see 30 Seconds to Mars in November 2010, and I ended up on stage with Jared Leto for their final song. And just like, yeah, it was weird. It was a whole bizarre situation where this guy who I befriended, who was like 6 foot odd, I'm 5'4". I just said to him, like, look, if he asks someone to go on stage, just launch me on top of the crowd, right? And just yeah, fine, no worries. That's good. So he did that, and luckily I got picked because I had a brand new T-shirt on. Great marketing plug for the guys, like. So they brought me on stage, and I just remember that energy of that crowd there that day, and I was just like, I need to do something that like gives that sort of response to people. I want to try and do something that kind of moves people in that same sort of way. And then I thought to myself, I was like, right, okay, I can't sing and I can't really play guitar very well. So what's my options? And then I was like, actually, I like music and I like making videos. So I kind of put the two together and was like, okay, cool, let's go for a music video director. And that was the route that I was aiming down all the way through uni as well, up to the point of, obviously when you graduate, everything kind of just dries up a little bit, there's sort of, especially around Wales and stuff, there's not a massive amount of film work and things like that. So like every sort of uni student really, like I kind of slipped out of that creative world and focused on like my part-time job that then became a full-time job. And I was just working up towards being a manager in Halfords then. And one day Ben walked through the door, and I knew him from, I've known him since we were in year 3. So what's that? It's probably 7 or 8 years old, I think it was. We knew each other back then. So we always spoke when he came in and stuff. And so we were chatting, and he said, well, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm just doing management, but hopefully I want to try and get into doing sort of films. And he said, well, I'm looking for a videographer. I was like, well, I'm a videographer. So like, is there something there? And he said, yeah, cool. Come in for a trial just to do some sort of, they were trying to launch an app at the time for exclusive content. He's like, come and film with a few of the boys there and see how it works. And the rest is history from there. And I left Halfords then just at Christmas time, and that was it. It was snowballing from there, really.
So when you took that job, did you feel out your depth, or were you comfortable? Yeah,
absolutely. Like I remember I used to watch Fail Army compilations on my break in Halfords, right? And I always thought like, oh, I love that stuff. And I thought to myself like, oh, I'd love to do YouTube one day, but it's so saturated because everybody's on YouTube, right? Everyone's got a YouTube channel or something like that. And there's so many people uploading. I was like, you'll never make it on YouTube. Plus I didn't understand the workings of YouTube. Like the whole back end of it is a whole other thing that you've got to learn, as you know yourself. So I kind of took the Richard Branson approach, where I knew I didn't know enough about the job to go into the job being like, yeah, I can do this. but I'm just going to say yes, and I'm just going to work hard to learn it as quick as possible.
So
And
good.
that's pretty much what I did. I was like, yeah, cool. I'm happy to do this, and this. And I just kind of threw myself into the job and, and just try to learn as quick as possible. And thankfully working with sort of like friends made that a bit easier as well as a transition. Whereas I think working for a company, they might have sort of not lost patience, but they have a higher expectation in terms of like certain deadlines and stuff, really.
Sure.
So,
mate, it's so good. And it's so funny you say that. It's funny, every single cameraman I've had. So I had my mate Lloyd, who's a photographer. I had a guy called Kevin who does heavy metal music videos, and we shot a music video with him in Atlanta, Georgia. And there's another couple of guys I've spoken to. Each one of them said, yeah, when I took on my first real job for camera work, I had no idea what I was doing. My mate Lloyd toured with Funeral for a Friend and said yes to going on tour with them. And he's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But it's so good that, like, I think so many examples. There's examples I've got in my own life where I'm sat at the drum kit in an enormous venue. I'm like, I got no right to be here, but I'm going to learn, and I'm going to just be humble, and I'm going to just figure this out as we go and just be the best person I can be whilst doing it. So that's wicked that you had that journey as well. So when you were doing YouTube, I feel like I had the perception that YouTube is as easy as you pick up your phone, you shoot it, you upload it to YouTube, and you're a millionaire. And I'm sure there's kids out there thinking the same with Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah.
What's it actually look like? Because I came to the office a couple of times to meet with Ben's team, and it was like a legit office environment where you guys were slogging it, working hard. Like, what did it look like? Was it easy, or was it hard work?
I mean, I think, not to take it away from anybody who wants to literally film something on their iPhone and then upload it, because you can do that. But when you're trying to do like actual sort of, when you're trying to run a brand itself, I think is probably the best way to call it. That's when you need a full sort of team behind you. And bearing in mind, in 2017, we were uploading videos every single day. So it was a case of like, we'd be working 60 to 80-hour weeks. It was crazy. And, we had Tristan, who used to do like the thumbnails for YouTube. I used to film and edit everything. Of course, we backlogged a lot of stuff as well. So it was just preparation. It's a lot of stuff because obviously I think one of the most desired careers now is to become a content creator or to become a YouTuber, especially for young kids, but not to kind of shoot the dream down. It's just, it takes a lot of work on the back end of stuff and the preparation and the actual sort of production of stuff, which people don't really see. But at the same time, it was really important for us to give that sort of inspiring message of you can pick up a phone and you can record something and upload it, because there's no secret formula to what's going to go viral, or there's no secret formula to how to become the next Logan Paul or the next David Dobrik or something like that. It's just, you kind of got to find out what's your sort of niche really, and run with it. But at the same time, I think it's a really, really cool experience learning all about YouTube, because I think you grow as a person and as a creator as you learn those steps as well. So
it's good. And where did it start for you guys? Did Ben or did you start with just a phone? How much kind of tech did you have at the start?
So he started off with a phone back on Vine and through Facebook days. And then with YouTube, his idea was to kind of evolve the content a bit more. So I started shooting on, it was a 5D Mark IV, I think it was, which was great. You walk into a job and here's a brand new 5D, that's great. That's a cameraman's dream essentially of most sort of things. And brand new MacBook, everything. So the kit was never a problem in terms of that sort of stuff. But it was, for me, it was kind of like, okay, cool, I could make this into this great production thing if we really, really wanted to. But the point is, it's a very relatable, laddish kind of brand that he has, that we kind of needed to keep the originality of it. So we did try and sort of like look at bigger sort of ambitious projects like Prank Haters and things like this, which was like a bigger whole operation where we had to contact people's families, get like background information done. Is the planning and process of those shoots was just crazy, but the execution and the delivery was incredible. But It's also about bringing it back down to what people really, really like, which is just them kind of getting up and causing hell for each other, essentially. So that is keeping the core brand values the same, but playing about and having a go at different things as well. So
yeah, I guess it's similar to music. A lot of pop music is so big because a kid can pick up a guitar or a piano and emulate it immediately.
Yeah,
and I think to be able to do that, with great gear, but make it look like something that everybody can do is a huge skill. Like, I've realized how hard it is to try and do anything with a camera. It's ridiculously hard, and I butcher it every time. So no, mate, it's so good. So that work ethic of 60-hour weeks, working with Ben, and then you've gone out on your own thing. What's that look like for you now? How has that kind of evolved and changed in terms of like work ethic and mindset and stuff like that?
I think I definitely went through an adjustment period, like, because I've been an employee for companies for probably like 10 years, something like that, 9-10 years. So going from that to being your own boss was quite a crazy sort of scary leap at the same time. But I found that sort of towards the end that I got comfortable, and that's when I start sort of getting not unhappy, but less fulfilled, I suppose, creatively, because it just kind of, it feels like the same thing you're doing over and over and over again. And like, we'd stopped after a year of dailies. So we were just kind of like playing about for like a year and a half with different things that we wanted to do. And then this year he said to me, he was like, look, I want to go back to doing dailies. And I had a lot more stuff in terms of opportunities outside the company that I wanted to explore. So I just said to him, I was like, look, I'd rather explore this than just dailies, man. It's a absolutely crazy it's a crazy thing to do. Like, I would never ever recommend dailies to anybody ever, because just the whole, have you heard of the YouTube burnout that a lot of people talk about?
I haven't, but I tried doing 2 a week, and I can imagine it gets intense.
Yeah. So like in 2017, you had all the big creators, like us, all the American creators. You had even like the British people like Zoel, Alfie Days. They were all shooting daily and things like this, because that was the thing to do at the time. It was to put a video out every single day because people loved that entrance into your life, essentially. But obviously, as time goes on, as you know, videos are super hard to make every single day, and you're plowing a lot more effort into it. So eventually you hit this wall, you hit this sort of brick wall where you're exhausted, creativity suffers, all that kind of stuff as well. You miss out sort of important things in your life. So you don't really see family events, or you miss birthdays and things like this as well. So that takes a toll. Relationships, friendships break down because you lose that sort of contact and things. So it was a real sort of, it was an interesting experience that I'm glad I had in 2017, but I would never do again. And so that was my sort of, when he said to me in January, he was like, look, I want to go back to dailies. I was like, that was my point where okay, cool, that's not really going to work. So that's where we were just like, all right, wicked, we'll just sort of part ways, and you see how things go. And obviously if there's any sort of issues, or if I'm struggling and things like that, I can go back. But I was just determined, because this whole next step thing, it was so scary, but at the same time it was very, very like thrilling. It would give me that new lease of life. It gave me that spark again. It gave me that sort of, I guess that open door that I was looking for, where I could just try and do anything and be anything for a year or two, just to try and see what my next step, my next chapter was. So as much as it was scary, it was very, very humbling at the same time, because it was just, imagine waking up every single day and go, you can do whatever you want to do, and then just film it. That's your life type thing. And I was just like, that was really hard to get adjusted to, but it was really, really good up until COVID. COVID screwed everything. Up until that point, it was insane. It was a crazy, crazy journey that I was on at the time.
So good, man. I love it. So last question, what would be a couple of tips you'd have to a young kid wanting to pick up a camera and start filming for YouTube? What would be some top tips?
I would say start as early as possible, because that gives yourself the most time in terms of learning stuff. Like, people are picking up cameras and pieces of software at like mid-teens at the moment. It's scary, because like by the time they get to my age, 27, they're already going to have like an empire built which is going to be incredible. So I would say start as early as possible just to learn stuff and just shoot stuff. Just see what you're interested in, whether you're interested in gaming videos, whether you're interested in comedy videos, whether you want to make documentaries, whether you want to go and find the best food places around the area, anything like that, wherever you're interested in, just go and make it, because you just need to keep making and making and making. Just so initially you can find your style of video, and you can also kind of find your niche as well, which is what, is what people struggle with the most on YouTube. Even I'm still figuring out my niche now, because I don't know what I was supposed to be doing, these comedy kind of style lifestyle vlogs, and then obviously the pandemic hit, so I couldn't really make that because I bounce off people better. So I like having this community of fun. So that's taken a little bit of a back step. So even with that, it doesn't matter what stage you are in your career, you're still trying to. So actually the biggest thing is just pick up and make something and just see where it goes. And it's not going to work out straight away. YouTube is the hardest platform to break. And I think the reason why the creators like Logan Paul and KSI do boxing matches is because it personifies what making it on YouTube is like. It is like a boxing match. You'll start off with a great first round. You'll get a good bit of flurry, and then it'll just dip then. And then you've got to kind of float until you find your little thing, which will take you to the next level. So that's kind of what people need to keep in mind, that it's not a quick game. It's a long-term game, which is great because it means that you're around for a lot longer and you can build something a lot bigger at that point as well. So
yeah, I'm just praying the consistency pays off right now. I've been consistent posting since I think May, so I'm hoping that something, because right now my biggest views are 900. But I was like, you know what? I'll take it as a win, because I wouldn't get 900 people in a room right now during the season of COVID. So I'll take it. But no, it's good. I really appreciate that wisdom, and I hope it inspires a kid watching this and wanting to get started. So, mate, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Carl. I hope you guys enjoyed today's conversation. The first thing I love about Carl is his humility to take what could have looked like a step back into an old job to protect his mental health in this season of COVID-19. I love that Carl had that humility to know when his mental health needed prioritizing. I saw on my Facebook feed this morning a young man that lost his battle to mental health, and I'm humbled by Carl's attitude of looking after his own mental health. I want to encourage you this morning to prioritize your mental health in whatever you're going through today. Additionally, I love Carl's work ethic. He was prepared to say yes when the opportunity arose. He worked harder when most wouldn't, and he put in the hours when it counted most. No matter the dream job, there's always someone on the other side working extremely hard. So whatever your dream and goal for 2020 is, remember to take opportunities when they arise, graft and work hard when others won't, and continue to learn about your craft. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, guys.
Hi, you still watching? You must have something better to do by now. Seriously though, thanks so much for watching today's episode from Inc. Remember, we all have those days where you feel like you don't matter. Everything's going wrong and no one is there to listen or relate. But here at Inc., you do matter. Remember, here you're included in something. You're part of a community where you are included. We want to inspire your future and bring a little bit of hope to your day. And before we wrap up, please do subscribe and stay connected to Inc. so we can continue to give you content that delivers a little bit of hope. See ya.